happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am Dial here with another movie review. Today we are talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the third installment of the live action Sonic the Hedgehog franchise held by Paramount. Let's get into this. So I have reviewed the first two Sonic films. If you haven't seen my reviews for those, check out my channel. It's going to be on the playlist called Sonic the Hedgehog. I'll probably leave a link in the description below so you guys can watch them too. But if you have seen my reviews for the first two Sonic films, you guys will know I really enjoyed the first two Sonic movies. I thought they were a lot of fun, and man, all I can say is we've come so far when it comes to video game movie adaptations because it's felt like decades we've been dealing with horrible video game movie adaptations. It felt like they would never get rid of that curse. But it feels like recently, as of the past like 4 or 5 years, it seems like studios are trying harder to make better quality video game adaptations. Probably the biggest one of note is the Super Mario Brothers movie. That's another one that I really enjoyed, and I thought they did a really good job keeping the essence of the video game while also being an entertaining film. And of course, you have those critically acclaimed video game shows too, like The Last of Us. A lot of people love that show as well. It's still not perfect. There still have been some video game adaptations that haven't been that great, like Uncharted and Halo. People were mixed about that, but I would say more times than not, we've been starting to get better video game movie and show adaptations, and I'm happy to say that Sonic the Hedgehog is another one of those good adaptations. And you guys remember, like back when the first Sonic movie came out, and we almost were going to get that horrible design of Sonic, and the fans were so upset that Paramount had to delay the film to redesign Sonic to make him look more like the video game. And I think that ended up being one of the best decisions that Paramount has ever done because not only does Sonic look so much better, but the movie overall was just a fun time. It was a good movie. And I thought it struck a perfect balance between keeping the essence and the spirit of the character in the video games while also having something in there where a general audience can enjoy it for people that have not played the games. And of course, Jim Carrey as Robotnik, I thought was a riot in the first two films. I thought he was so fun to watch. And the first two movies ended up being so successful, not only at the box office, but critics and audiences really enjoyed them, that Paramount has recently announced that they are trying to make a Sonic the Hedgehog cinematic universe of such. And I was actually really excited to see that because there's so much lore that they can explore from the video games, and there's so many characters from the Sonic the Hedgehog lore as well that there's plenty of material they can go off of so they can create more movies, more sequels, and more spin-offs of shows as well. Now, I am aware that there is a Knuckles show on Paramount Plus. I have not watched that yet. I heard a lot of mixed things about it, so that's why I wasn't in a rush to watch it. But maybe I'll go back and watch it and give my thoughts out there at some point. But yeah, we'll see. But definitely, I'm excited if after the third movie, if they want to branch out and introduce more characters from the Sonic universe, I definitely will be up for that. So when it came to Shadow the Hedgehog, they obviously teased him at the end of the second movie, and I was really excited to see that. I thought it was definitely a natural progression of what they were building up with the first two movies. And there's been a lot of speculation of who they wanted to voice Shadow the Hedgehog. There's a lot of people that wanted Hayden Christensen to voice him, which I wouldn't have been opposed to that, especially because Hayden Christensen is starting to make a comeback with the Disney Plus Star Wars shows for sure. So I think he would have been a solid voice. But then there's a lot of people that wanted Keanu Reeves as Shadow the Hedgehog, and that ended up being the case. I was actually on board with that too. I am a Keanu Reeves fan, and I do think that his voice would fit really well for Shadow. Definitely has that dark, grim, menacing voice that he can give to it. So I definitely was on board with that. And even from the marketing, I thought it looked awesome. It looked like it was going to be the most action packed of the three. Um, the Sonic characters looked so good, like the effects for the different animal alien creatures in these movies. It feels like it gets better and better with each installment. So it looked amazing. And once again, Jim Carrey as Robotnik, you can never go wrong with them. And we were worried that he wouldn't come back for the third movie because he announced his retirement not too long ago. So I'm glad that that Jim Carrey sees some good material with this that would make him want to stay for a little bit longer. But not only was he going to play Ivo Robotnik, he was also going to play his grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, also from the video game. So he's going to play double duty with that, and I was very interested to see how that was going to play out. But it looked so much fun. It looked like there was going to be a lot of Easter eggs for the video games. It looked like it was going to be the ultimate Sonic movie that everybody wanted to see. So I was excited to see this. Like, I know this came out around the same weekend as Mufasa, and part of me was really hoping that this movie would do better than Mufasa. And it's obviously people are more interested in seeing this than Mufasa. But obviously, if you've seen the box office, that's not exactly the case. I've said before that, like, even though I wasn't excited to see Mufasa, don't sleep on it because it's Lion King. They'll take their families to see that, and it's a more well-known property than Sonic, so I'm not surprised about it. But part of me was hoping that Sonic would make a statement with Disney as far as that. But regardless, still was very successful at the box office, and still was pretty consistent as far as critic and audience response. So at least we got that. But what did I think about Sonic the Hedgehog 3? I really enjoyed this film, and I think this is my favorite of the three. I had an absolute blast watching this movie. It was almost everything that I wanted in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. So good. It was so fun. Who would have thought that we would get to this point after the controversy with the first movie and that horrible design? Who would have thought, with them making the necessary changes that they did, that we would get to this point in the franchise? Like, this is peak for me. This is peak. Now, granted, I will talk to the hardcore video game fans here. Now, is this 100% exactly like the video game as far as Shadow's origin? No, it's not. But I think they do enough adaptation from the video game where it still keeps the spirit and the essence. And that's where I feel like, and then probably some people won't agree with me, but this is where I feel like Sonic will have a little bit more of an advantage over Super Mario Bros., for example, which is a movie that I also really enjoyed. But that one, I don't feel was trying to cater to the general audience as much as Sonic. I don't feel like Super Mario Brothers really has a balance. Like, that movie is strictly for the fans of the Mario video games. And I feel like if you want to get a new audience, I feel like there is a balance between getting a new audience and being respectful to the lore so the fans would enjoy it as well. And I personally feel like this movie strikes the perfect balance. I think this has the best balance of all three movies, where it's like this 100%. This feels the most like Sonic as far as its lore and its world building and the universe. But at the same time, it has stuff in there where I feel like if people aren't Sonic fans, there's enough in here that people will enjoy it. For one thing, the effects in this movie is amazing. This is a beautiful looking film. This is the best the Sonic movies have ever looked. The effects on Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Shadow, dude, the fur, the texture, like the expression of their eyes, the action scenes look amazing, unbelievable. Would there be you know what, I'll say this, there is still a couple of shots that looked a little uncanny, just a little bit, but 99 or 90% of the movie, it looked amazing. And as far as the action scenes, like, dude, this is a straight up Dragon Ball Z movie, man. Like, the action scenes here are so thrilling and so sci-fi and just intense. There's like city battles and all that stuff. It's like the action season here is worth the price of admission. And I didn't think I would say that for a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, but like they spared no expense as far as giving us spectacle, and I definitely enjoyed that. Um, Keanu Reeves' Shadow, perfect, perfect. His voice fit the character so well. Um, I loved the expressions that Shadow had, like definitely straight out of the video games. I liked he was a dark, emo, menacing character, but at the same time, he wasn't a downer. Like even there when there are moments where he's trying to be serious, he still has some like levity as far as they found a good balance of giving him some lighthearted moments, and at the same time having us taking him seriously as a as a threat. And that is difficult to do because look at Shadow's design, like you wouldn't be instantly intimidated by that. But there actually was some really good menacing moments with Shadow, and I appreciated that. But also we're able to see his soft side as well, especially seeing his backstory with Maria Robotnik. For those of you who are fans of the video game, you guys are familiar with that. But even for people that don't know the lore of Shadow, I think they did a solid job introducing everyone to the character and actually seeing, his kind of his upbringing and his, seeing what his motivations are. I think they did a solid job introducing that to the audience. So I thought that was done really, really well. Um, Obviously, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, once again, they're great. Ben Schwartz does a really good job voicing Sonic. I thought he was great in all three movies, and it's just more consistent with that. Um, Also, you get to see a little bit more edge from Sonic a little bit in this. Not too much, he still cracks jokes and he's witty, but then when we start getting into more serious stuff with Shadow, we actually get to see a little bit more of a serious side from Sonic, which I definitely appreciated that. Um, Knuckles, once again, was great. You feel like he's slowly starting to get into the Drax territory. Not too much, but like, it's like him being him unintentionally being funny with how serious and him not being aware of like modern jokes and stuff like that. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Drax, but it's not as silly as that. But I still did really enjoy him. Idris Elba does a really good job. Tails is Tails. You enjoy Tails for he's the the support of the team. He's the tech person. He's the most optimistic person of the group. So he plays his role as well. Love that they got the original voice actor to play Tails. Thought that was great. Of course, Jim Carrey as Robotnik is a riot. He's literally a riot, man. I really enjoy him as Robotnik. Yes, there are still some over the top Jim Carrey moments that is an acquired taste for people. So like once again, if you're not the biggest fan of Jim Carrey's over the top craziness, like it's more of that in this. So expect more of that. But I personally I think this is the right like balance of that for me, where it's like he strikes a chord between playing the maniacal character from the video game, but then also making the character his own. And I think it's working because for a lot of people, especially people that aren't the biggest fans of Sonic, a lot of people say that Jim Carrey is the standout for them. So that's where I say that like they are able to strike a chord of having elements in here that would appeal to a general audience, and Jim Carrey is one of them. But I've always enjoyed him. I enjoyed him since the first movie. But what I'm also impressed about is him playing Gerald Robotnik, his grandfather. And what I liked, it wasn't the exact same performance as Ivo. Like it was obviously much more. It's obviously different from that, but still, Jim Carrey was able to make it his own. And what I actually was surprised about is that Gerald seemed a lot more menacing than Ivo. Like he had his like crazy maniacal moments, whereas like he felt like more of the threat than Ivo. But overall, I thought him playing both Robotniks was great. And what I'm really impressed about was how they were able to convince me that Gerald and Ivo were in the same room interacting with each other. like it looks seamless. The effects there like looked really good. Like I believe that they were both in the same room. They were both touching each other. They were both interacting with each other, and all the other stuff. Like it felt like they were two different people. So, and like whatever scenes they have with together are some of the best parts of the movie. I'm sure you guys know this for people that have seen the movie, but there is a dance sequence with both Robotniks that I thought was absolutely hilarious. Like it was great. Um, Also, I was surprised with Agent Stone from the first two movies because I didn't care too much for Agent Stone the first two, but even Agent Stone gets some development here, which I didn't expect. There's actually some there's a dynamic that he has with Ivo throughout the film that actually was kind of nice. It was kind of sweet. I didn't expect that. But yeah, Agent Stone is starting to become a mainstay with this franchise, and I actually don't mind that. Um, but yeah, so I thought he was very good. And what I also appreciated, because one of the things that did kind of bother me with the first two movies was how much the human characters were taking up screen time from Sonic and his friends. They didn't do that in this movie. Like the humans actually felt like the supporting characters to Sonic and his friends. And it's like they didn't take up that much screen time. They didn't really play a factor into the movie until the actual climax of the film where they're helping Sonic with his plans. And even then, it's like it didn't feel like they took over the movie all of a sudden. And so I appreciate that they actually gave more attention to Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow like they're supposed to. So all that was very good. But regardless, I did think that James Marsden and Tika Sumpter was good. I didn't have a problem with them in the first two movies, but once again, I thought they were best utilized in this film. So yay with them on that. Um, but yeah, man, there's definitely a lot of Easter eggs and like hints from the video games, obviously like Sonic Adventure and stuff like Sonic Adventure 2 specifically, and other stuff like that. I'm sure the hardcore Sonic fans were able to point out some other stuff in the movie. Um, and obviously you see cool shots like Sonic on a motorcycle holding a gun. I know a lot of people freaked out about that. That was definitely a great moment as well. Um, yeah, there's just so much cool stuff that I never thought I would see from a Sonic movie, and they just put it here. Um, then also, if you haven't seen the movie, stay for the credit scenes. Both credit scenes I thought were pretty good. Especially the first credit scene is setting up for other stuff for the now announced Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Yeah, that mid credit scene you might want to stay for because that I'm excited for what they're about to build up for the fourth film. Like they are definitely committing to the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and I am definitely for it. Can't wait to see what happens. But overall, I had such a good time watching this movie. Such an enjoyable movie to end off on, for me at least, for 2024. And then I'm so excited to see more from the Sonic franchise. I thought Keanu Reeves as Shadow I thought was great. I thought Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, I thought they were very good. Jim Carrey as both Robotniks was very good. They did a good job introducing Shadow into the movie. They did a good balance of giving us the fan service, but also giving uh, stuff that the general movie-going audience can enjoy. The action scenes were great. The visuals were great. This overall is my favorite Sonic film. And if you are a Sonic fan and you haven't seen this, what are you doing with your life? Go and watch this. It is definitely worth it. But I will give Sonic the Hedgehog 3, I will give it a B+. Really good film. Go see it if you haven't already. But those are my thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog 3. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? How does it compare to the first two Sonic films? Are you guys excited for more live-action Sonic movies or shows? What did you guys think about the Knuckles show? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. So, yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog 4, I think is coming out 2026, if I'm not mistaken. So, I will definitely go see that and give you guys my thoughts when it comes out. And I'll probably go back and talk about Knuckles at some point, but not in a rush. But if you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you, Sonic fans, and I'll catch you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. You're a colorful bunch.